Hey everyone.
Hey,
Um, so excuse the roughness. We have had a really long day today. We just got done watching the Super Bowl. So it's Sunday, but I did really good today. So you know how I was talking about how exhausted I get? Well, this morning I made sure that I ate oatmeal and I packed a grapefruit, so I was able to make it through the day without any issue. It wasn't that bad at all. It was all right. I did fall asleep um, during the telling of the Super Bowl,
mm, yeah, she didn't make it.
but it sounded like it was a good game. Everybody was really excited.
It's all
So,
right.
mm,
It's all right. Panthers should have won, but we're not gonna go there.
well, it was the Panthers and the Broncos.
Broncos, yes. Yep.
Shows how much I paid attention during the game. Um,
Well, in all fairness, she was taking advantage of the fact that kids were off playing with other children and not really needing mommy and daddy. So that
yes,
was beautiful.
having friends with kids is just wonderful, especially when your kids are the same age. Like, you should get together with them any opportunity you can
Every
because
every opportunity that you can.
when they're together, it's less stress.
Hmm.
They play together, they're focused on each other, they're not asking for your attention as much. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful thing.
Hmm.
It was a beautiful thing. Babe, this year in March will be 6 years for us.
It doesn't feel like it. I feel like we just got married.
Today it feels like we just got married. And I be feeling like that every day.
That's true.
Um, they say that the first 7 years of marriage are your hardest. Do you think that's true?
I've never gone past 7, so I don't know.
I guess that's legit. Well, I guess then I would say, has it been hard? Has it been a hard 6 years?
There's been some hard times, for sure. I think the main struggle with being married is that when you're focusing on your needs, your desires, um, it is very difficult because you're more focused on what you're not getting than what you can give to the other person. And marriage is more about giving of yourself than it is getting something, you know.
Yeah.
So,
I agree. I think the hardest thing for me being married um, has been not making myself the standard,
mm,
you know, not being like, I give you, my last, my shirt off my back. You have to give me your shirt off your back
mm-hmm,
kind of attitude. I think one of the things that has helped is definitely our faith, you know, using the
absolutely,
Bible as a guideline
mm-hmm,
for what love is instead of my standards has been very humbling.
yeah,
Um, that was a really big thing for me. We used to argue a lot in the beginning because I would always say that he didn't precede me. He didn't look at my needs um, and like see what I was like, act out what I was needing before I needed him to do it.
mm-hmm,
Like, if you knew that you were going to be hungry around dinner time, why didn't you think I was going to be hungry around dinner time? And I would focus on that, and it
I
would,
would feed you. What are you talking
I know,
about?
I was just using that as an example because I can't think of anything else right now.
Okay.
Um, but it would just like plant these little seeds of
Mm-hmm.
like resentment
Mm-hmm.
to where I would start to feel like he doesn't love me as much as I love him, or
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't work as hard for us as I work for us, and he doesn't sacrifice as much for me as I sacrifice for him. And I God really had to like deal with me in that attitude of um, me being the standard,
Mm-hmm.
because there's a whole lot of stuff that I wasn't doing for you while focusing on me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I think that's something that's definitely um, been a great blessing to overcome and sometimes still be in the process of overcoming. especially since we have kids now and they're little.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I think the hardest thing for me is definitely was my selfishness. Being an only child is my first nature just to worry about myself. But then I had to focus on you, and then to focus on children, and then we had to focus on church and extended family, and it's like so many different things that I have to now focus on.
Yeah.
Um, but but God has definitely done a work in me where He's taught me that it's not so much um, what you do, just doing something for the sake of doing it, but it's the attitude behind it. That you got to make sure that while you're doing a good thing, that you have the right heart behind it, and it makes it easy. It makes it easier to do what needs to be done when your heart is in the right place.
So, how do we balance our heart being in the right place when it comes to marriage? There's a lot of times where we just don't feel like it.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
maybe I've had a long day with the kids, and at the end of the day, being a wife is just something that I'm just not interested in, or I
Mm-hmm.
just don't have time for, or you've been, working all day to provide for us, and you get home and you just don't feel like it. How do you balance that? Like
Well, I think
growing our relationships without neglecting.
Well, I think that sometimes it should be it should be okay for someone to get some alone time. You know what I mean? We're not machines, so we can't just go 100 miles per hour throughout the day. There's times where each of us need time where we can just kind of recoup.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's okay. There's other times when you don't have the opportunity to do that, so you got to kind of one thing that's worked for me is working out Bible scriptures. What you said to me that one time was really good. How you just say, love is patient, love is patient, love is patient. So you remind yourself that you got to be patient with this person first, and then once you master that in that moment, then you got to remember that love is kind. That now I have to be kind to this person. I not only do I have to be patient with this individual, but now I have to be actually kind to this person and go out of my way to bless them. So I think I mean, in the areas in which I'm weak, God is strong. So I have definitely grown just by just reminding myself of scripture, and not just reminding myself of scripture, but actually applying it. And I'm hoping that if I apply it long enough, that it's no longer a struggle for me to actually apply it. It just becomes a habit. So that's what I'm
Yeah.
doing right now.
I think we're a pretty good match too because you're an only child, but I come from a really big family. So I'm used to, you know, nothing is sacred, kind of. Like everything I have is shareable.
Hmm.
And you're
Even my stuff.
and you're used to everything you have it belongs to you.
Yes.
And so I think we're a good balance.
Hmm.
I think God knew what He was doing, bringing us together, and we definitely have we definitely struggle with ourselves.
Hmm.
With me wanting to do everything, and with you seemingly wanting to do nothing at times. Um, and finding that um, it's been interesting finding that balance because sometimes we need to be still,
Hmm.
and that's just as important as doing the work. Hearing the instructions are just as important as executing them.
That's the truth.
So, um, but it's been fun. It's
Hmm.
been fun being married to you.
So far, we're
It's
married
not
to you too.
always work.
No, it's not.
Sometimes it's fun.
Hmm. More times than not,
More times than not.
when we get out of our own way, it becomes a lot of fun.
And I think when we identify our problem areas too, like one thing that we recently realized is when we're good, like when we're in a good space with each
Hmm.
other, we interrupt each other. It's that when we're good, we interrupt each other all the time.
Hmm.
But when we're not good, then we start to focus on those things. Like, you're interrupting me when I'm talking.
Hmm.
Um, and then that's like an indicator that we're one of us is feeling a certain way that we haven't expressed yet. And it's not always to towards each other.
Hmm.
Like, it might be that that day the kids have not been listening to me at all, and I've been repeating myself all day long. So when I'm talking to him and he's interrupting me, it's like, oh, I can't get a thought out. Uh, when the issue is not really him interrupting me, the issue is that I've had a frustrating day.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it's important. I think it's helped us a lot to like identify the little things that fester, the seeds that turn into big things, that turn
Mm-hmm.
into I can never talk to you, or
Mm-hmm.
um, you're so difficult to communicate with, or whatever. Those things that happen as a result that come up because we're not perfect. We argue sometimes.
We do.
We're good. We're good at arguing though. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody gave us advice when we got married to have rules when you argue, because you're gonna argue, and those rules have helped us stay married. I think
Mm-hmm.
because some arguments got real close to the lines you're not supposed to cross,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and it's been those rules that have been like, do you really want to go there? Do you?
Mm-hmm.
How bad do you want to be right?
Mm-hmm. I think my rule was don't say shut up.
Oh yes, you hate
Yeah.
being dismissed. That's
Yeah.
like
No.
you hate being dismissed.
You know. And your rules just become second nature. I haven't even thought about it. I kind of forgot. But it was it that, I forget what it was.
Don't like disregard my feelings is like crazy. Like that's
Oh,
crazy,
don't say
or
you're crazy.
like
Yes.
who thinks like that?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But rules help. But I love you.
I love you too.
It's been a long night,
Mm,
long day. So
mm.
I think we're gonna call it a night and get ready for bed. 31 weeks. 31 weeks? 32 weeks. 32 weeks. You know how many weeks I am?
No.
I'm 32 weeks.
I know
I'm
around the time you're
32
due.
weeks.
That's all I need
I
to
believe.
know.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know.
You're
It's
due.
late.
You're due April 8th.